This is the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles.
The shaky operation through 3 weeks, flags, undisciplined. Has it fallen short of your expectations for a Mike Vrabel football team? Because I know it's early, but it has certainly fallen short of my expectations of a Mike Vrabel football team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is and I wrote this off the game on Sunday. That's probably been the most disappointing thing to me. Probably second would be the defense in some of these approaches, including in this game, which we'll go over, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, when I came into the season, and I think a lot of people were like this, Nick, you figured, okay, they have a very young quarterback. They have almost an entirely new offensive line. It's a new offensive system. You know, it's going to take some time. On defense, new system, even though it's not new to some of the guys that are out there. They have a lot of talent. Hoping Christian Gonzalez would be out there to make it even more talent. It hasn't happened. So, and you know, just the overall talent level of this team would, you know, be in the, you know, let's say the bottom half of the league, probably. But you figured with Mike Vrabel and this coaching staff, it's in its entirety. And, you know, let me say that I think a lot of Mike Vrabel, I think he's going to be a great coach for the Patriots. I think a lot of this coaching staff in all aspects, all three phases, I think they have a really good staff. And you put all those things together, and I figured they would be able to at least, if not punch above their weight a little bit, you know, early on or this season in general, they'd at least be able to, you know, punch in their weight class because they would be disciplined. They wouldn't beat themselves in terms of penalties and turnovers. You'd get an advantage with Mike Vrabel and Stretch as far as game management and things like that. And it would just give them a little bit of an edge. So you figured that in games against, you know, a team like the Raiders or the Steelers on Sunday, that the Patriots would have a reasonable chance to win. But through 3 games and being 1-2 at the stretch, and I've been disappointed because those things that we thought were going to be controllables for this team in terms of how they're coached, how they play, the discipline, we thought that would be at a high level. And maybe at the end of the day, they wouldn't have the talent to compete with some teams or win some games. But, you know, that hasn't happened. They haven't been outclassed in any of these games as far as talent. But where they've lacked is the execution, the penalties, the turnovers, all things that you thought Vrabel and his coaching staff would be able to make a difference in. And through 3 games, that just hasn't happened. So that's been a little bit disappointing. Not to say it's not going to happen, because I do think it's going to happen. I'm just a little underwhelmed at this point at Mike Vrabel and company.
I would agree with you. And you just look at some of these detailed things. I thought Vrabel would be much better on the details than he's been. And you start the game off, Caleb Chase on. Again, he's offsides right out of the gates. Like, what are we doing? That has to be addressed. And you look at the fact that you're one of the worst tackling teams, which we'll get to later on here on this live stream, but you're one of the worst tackling teams in all of football. You work on it all week during practice. You go into Sunday's game against the Steelers, and you miss 14 tackles on Sunday. So it's some of those things that are bugging me.